Good morning, everybody. Paul Heidema here. Share a story about working with two partners at a large firm. The first one showed up in ways that really worked for me. He was patient and kind. He really asked me a lot of questions. He gave me guidance. To me, he demonstrated what it meant to be a leader by how he showed up. If he wanted people to be patient, he was patient. He was willing to get in there and have the tough conversations. He was willing to do the work. He was willing to be humble. Kinds of things that really impressed me as a leader and impressed many others that I worked with. The other showed up in ways that don't work for me. Maybe they work for you. He was much more type A in terms of driven, even though both partners were driven. He was much more likely to give you direction than to really talk through a conversation with you. If things went sideways, he would be much more harsh or strong, use, more aggressive language, things that didn't really work for me. And I noticed while I was there that different people actually kind of followed and mimicked their behaviors. And when I noticed that, I started paying attention to that and wondering if that worked for them. And so for me, when I worked with the first one, it worked more for me. I found myself lighter and more joyful, more excited to have a conversation with him. And I saw people that worked with him also seemed to be the same. Those that worked with the second one or worked more with him, I also worked with the second one. For me, it didn't work. I felt more stressed and overwhelmed. I would try to shy away from conversations with him. But others that worked with him, some others, they seemed to like it. They take on some of the same traits. They would, move through the ranks pretty quick. They would also show that kind of push that was similar to the second partner. So even though the first one was more something or an example of what I wanted more, doesn't mean the second one didn't get things done and it didn't fit for other people. We got to think about what that impact is, right? So for the first one, I found the impact to be much more encouraging, much more empowering, much more supportive. And that seemed to have a big effect on people around him. And the second one didn't have that, but was much more driven, so much more direct. And when things went badly, would really tell people that. Some people liked that direct criticism because that meant that they could understand what to do. So these two kind of showed up in extremes, which I thought was interesting. So maybe think about what kind of leader are you? And what are the ones that you work well with? Have a great day.